Hello everyone, Alexandra here again. And I thought that I'm gonna speak about my translation process of the 10th lesson of the Way of Knowing from the Way of Mastery pathway again. And I am halfway through the lesson itself in the translation. The first half about the self-love. I've been going through that, and it took me actually like 3 or 4 months to really allow the purification to occur. And now I find myself kind of stuck again with the second half, which is about the lineage and the sacred family. And I think that everything that is unhealed regarding family structures in this lifetime or any other lifetimes is going to come up when this theme is here with the lineage, because if I feel into it and I allow everything up that feels like a block, that feels like resistance, it comes down to this feeling of not belonging anywhere, this feeling and the countless experiences of being a part of communities, but this social inclusion meant the need and required the need to bend to fit the needs of the community. It's like a compromise, which brings up a sadness that if you want to be a part of a community on this human level, in the human experience, then you have to crap fit yourself in little ways. And then the little ways, this expression, the crap fit yourself, I heard this from the, how is she called? Crappy Childhood Fairy. She has a YouTube channel and she helps in healing from childhood trauma. This is not approached from a spiritual point of view, but I think it's really helpful to look at all these experiences and the resistances toward the lineage, or even just this expression, by examining the childhood trauma theme. And of course there is a spectrum to it, so it means from abuse to neglect, or the feeling of being invisible that can come up. And for me right now at this point, this feels still very heavy, and even though I feel it in my heart, this belonging to the lineage of Joshua and, this sacred family we are all part of, who are drawn to the way of mastery and Joshua's teachings. I feel it in my heart. It's like in my core, literally, in my being here, in my insides and in the center, I feel that. But then if I expand my attention, then I can feel that in this outer circles of my being. Like even here, it feels like I'm blindsided, like the traumas and unhealed energies are like a blindfold, and they are still here in my being all over this inner core. And that's why the Hungarian language is so beautiful, because the word Hungarian entails in itself the word center and core. So in my core I can feel the belonging, and I can feel that yes, it's really time to take up my place at the right hand of God, as it is beautifully said in this lesson. But at the same time, it feels right now so distant, even though I am translating these teachings for almost 7 years now, and even before that there was a Course in Miracles for years. There is such a depth to it. It is so deep, the healing and the purification that is needed to occur. So currently, this is where I'm at. Yeah, and it feels that the rabbit hole is really deep, and I don't know where it's going to take me. But there is this sense of belonging and not belonging at the same time. And that's why I love that expression in the Way of Mastery, that I belong to God and not to this world. But because I find myself here, meaning I'm still choosing this experience, this human 3D experience, it is a natural desire for a joyful experience and something that is filled with love and passion and inspiration, enthusiasm, lightheartedness. These are the desires, and when we don't experience that and don't and we feel like it's almost like not really knowing how to use the power to create, right? Obviously there is still so much to learn and to use the time constructively, and all of this is easy to say when low-key we experience these periods of dark night of the soul. Even right now I feel that some things have been dissolved in my being, but at the same time there is such an emptiness that is not filled up with love yet. And this is the time when I tend to go back to old patterns, because that's familiar, but it's not helpful anymore and it's not joyful anymore. So yeah, I've been here before, so I can kind of look at all of what is happening from a perspective that is not identified with all of what's going on. But at the same time, there is also something very new to this and unknown. feeling wise, it's a familiar emptiness, but also it's a brand new sense of emptiness. Maybe you know what I mean, and maybe you have experienced something similar too. And this is when it's so helpful to have all the helpful grounding rituals like building a fire. I still love this warmth so much. And of course, it is very much needed too in these winter times. Yeah. So, yes, this is the theme right now, the lineage, communities. I don't know where all this leads to. I don't have to. Returning to the breath, and like love's breath, breath says, finding my home in the breath. Ultimately, that's the only thing that helps. That's something that's always here. That's something that I can always return to. So that's it for now. Let me know if you felt similar things on your own path, in your awakening experience. How do you feel about the lineage? Do you feel that you belong? Like you really feel it in all of your being? Or is it something you can relate to, this strange experience and feelings of being in it, but also it's like some aspects of yourself are looking into it from outside of it? So, oh, it's so strange. And all of this is energetical, this experience. And I'm just trying to put it into words, but all of this comes up really when I feel into it energetically, where I'm really at, if I'm honest with myself. Anyway, I'm happy about the sharings, and like I mentioned, I love this phrase of Godspeed, which is something I want to stick to because it reminds me of trusting the process and trusting the timing. So, Godspeed, precious hearts. Bye.